live. Greetings, denizens of the internet. You can call me Nitro Indigo, and welcome to my extremely riveting live stream series of Monster Sanctuary. In the last episode, we completed the Horizon Beach storyline by defeating Julia in a keeper duel and then a champion battle against an Elder Gel. And in this episode, and then we discovered the Magma Cavern, but I'd like to clear out Horizon, fully explore Horizon Beach first before we continue, but I'd also like to go to the shop. Oh, who's that? A human? Isn't ya? What, you think you can just barge into me shop like that? Well, alright mate, you're my first customer, Welcome to me first.
Why is he Scottish?
Endorsed by the official Goblin Miners Union. I think he's supposed to be like... more like from the West Country. Also, you disconnected for a moment.
Yeah, no. I disconnected because my Wi-Fi has decided to be mean to me today.
Okay. So, anyway, Backset, you weren't with me for the last stream, but if you need me to fill you in on anything, please let me know. What, you're wondering why I'm talking and all that? All the Scotlanders can talk, mate. You just never gone and tried talking to a Goblin before, have you, mate? What is this voice? Anyway, we mentioned...
Why is he like this?
It's exclusive, mind you. I only got one of these. Yeah, it also does raise kind of ethical questions about if some of the monsters clearly have human-like intelligence, so is it ethical to basically keep them as pets, but they don't really address this. So, see anything you like, mate? Okay, I keep changing his voice every, line. I'm just gonna buy one of each thing. And... you done it, mate. You gone and brought out the entire stock. That means I gotta go back to your mines and get some new stock from your shop. Thanks, mate. But don't worry, he'll have some more stuff in the post-game. Anyway, we're gonna go back the way we came. Oh, and also I got this Nautilus last time and I don't have a name for it. And also in the last stream, it turns out that Casey, who's probably not a regular commenter on these, had made a bunch of messages in the live chat, but I didn't see any of them because, as I've said before, I check the live chat on my phone while I'm streaming, but YouTube Mobile has this weird glitch where sometimes the chat won't update, so I didn't actually see them until after the fact, so I just felt so embarrassed. Unfortunately, that's not as bad as doing an entire live stream without realising you weren't recording audio for the second time, but still, I just felt a bit bad for Casey because they were screaming into the void just like I was in part 8, I think it was.
We all scream into the void. The question is, does the void scream back?
But don't worry, I checked OBS to make sure my microphone was working this time. Basically, the issue is that OBS is that for some reason I have a USB microphone, but for some reason it only works if it's plugged into a specific slot. And that time I had my controller and USB switched around.
You gotta love electronic devices. I don't even have a mic, I just have a headset.
Okay.
Which I guess has a mic on it. But...
I used to have a microphone headset, but the quality wasn't very good, and also I accidentally broke one. So...
yeah, I don't actually do enough to make buying an actual mic worth it.
Oh, we've also got
I should
another
do more.
seashell, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to go through the rest of Horizon Beach. But also, you said that the Goblin had a Scottish accent, and actually, until last year, I thought that Hagrid from Harry Potter. Sorry for mentioning Harry Potter. I don't want to dig myself into a hole. Anyway, was Scottish, but then I saw someone saying it was from the West Country, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like the only other fictional character I can think of from the West Country, not counting the pirate accent, is like Duck and Oliver from CGI Thomas and Friends. If you don't know the West Country,
I don't know anything about British accents. I'm sorry.
Western part. It's the part of the United of England that's where Cornwall and Devon, that area. And if none of those names mean anything to you, then go look at Google Maps.
I heard Cornwall.
Yeah, and honestly, I just associate, whenever I hear, I just always find it a bit weird that, there was a place in, the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, they have the Devon Corporation. Apparently it's named after the Devonian period, because all the periods in the Paleozoic, except one of them, are named after places or people. And a lot of them are from the United Kingdom because that's where a lot of early paleontologists lived. The only exception is the Carboniferous, which is coal-bearing, but in America sometimes it's split into the Mississippian and another one I don't remember, but it's Pennsylvania and that's it, which are both states. And also
that's weird.
Mississippi is a river.
And I say that as an American. I don't get why is it like that?
It's actually like, I'm not even sure if it's like, it doesn't seem to be that common, and I'm not really sure if when that was decided. I don't know. I like paleontology though.
You don't say! I couldn't tell!
But the fact that my first effort video last year was a speed paint where I drew an animal from the Permian.
Yeah, and you talk about it all the time. Which is understandable. I talk about my interests all the time. It's how having interests work.
And I like hearing people talk about their interests because it's just nice to hear people being happy. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the Nautilid in my team. It's not a Nautilus, it's a Nautilid. It's from the Nautilus family.
Either way, it's still just a straight up real thing, just a real creature.
Or is it? Because basically, I think I was going to open the Monster Journal, but I'd just rather get on with the actual gameplay right now. Is that Nautilid was also created by the Elder Gels, like the Ukans were. And if this game is quite crazy, but I kind of like how in-depth the entries are. Usually in like most games like this, there's only like 2 sentences of flavour text. Especially Temtem, where they just keep reusing the same flavour text and stuff for like descriptions of the spin-off they're using or the art book. So there really isn't that much information about most Temtem species. Which is a shame because I'm like one of the few people who actually likes the aesthetic of Temtem. And I've been playing it a lot lately because I'm trying to complete the Tempedia.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like them being more in depth is interesting. But also, I think they could be, like, there's a happy medium balance you need to strike, and they're not striking it.
Also the issue where there's a lot of them just have the one word that drags onto that just hangs onto the next page, and it looks very weird.
Yeah, no, it.
Yeah. This is why
like,
you use very
like this game. I get why, because I'm fairly certain this game was not originally written in English.
Yeah, I think the Morai is a German company. It might have been originally, like, a lot of games seem to be developed in English even when that's not the creator's native language, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're good at it. No offense, it's like, I know Timberborn is Polish, and I know for a fact it was originally developed in English, because on the experimental branch they say that some things might only be in English if you're playing it in another language because they haven't translated everything yet. And if you're wondering, Timberborn is a beaver city builder.
Yeah, you only get, like, a lot of the writing in this, like, you only get that if English isn't your native language.
It's like this concept I discussed years ago called doublings, where you can just tell that something was translated or written by people who weren't very good at that language, but it was a bit of a vague, nebulous concept, but it's sort of like how in a lot of localizations of early Japanese games, you see these things that aren't really wrong, but they're just, like, very awkwardly worded, like a lot of the dialogue in the original version of Klonoa Daughter Phantom Isle is what I was using as an example. Or like in Klonoa 2 Lunate's Veil, there's a part where, early on, where, like, the companion character says, so Klonoa ... is the name of the Dream Traveller, and, like, that's fine English grammatically, but it's just
that's not. I don't think that's where you'd put that pause.
Yeah, in Japanese.
That's not where I would put the pause if I was writing that.
It seems like usually you pause after the subject of a sentence because of the way the grammar works. But in English, that just sounds awkward. You see it like in anime dubs as well. Like, Fullmetal Alchemist 2003's translation is a bit janky, to be honest. Like, there's this bit where Alphonse randomly has this really verbose speech about how he doesn't feel physical pain, and it just sounds so out of place because he's voiced by a literal child. Like, I'm not dissing Aaron Dismuke, he was, like, 11 at the time. I'm just saying, like, it was more like the thing with the script. Where it's like, since I no longer have a mortal shell, I do not understand the pain you felt. I can't remember. It's in the episode where they rescue Winry from the serial killer.
They do that several times. You're gonna have to be specific. neighbors here are from serial killers a lot. That's
Do they?
at least twice.
I was specifically thinking of the one where they rescue her from Barry the Chopper. I can't remember what the episode's called, but it's in the first part of 2003 with Melissa as the opening. But when I first watched the show, like, I didn't realise that, like, they got out... that, like, a lot of the previous episodes have been... Like, there was a lot of episodes in a row that were flashbacks until the end of them when they showed Ed going into the desert, and I was like, oh... Because the way it's framed is really confusing. But then also it kind of is interesting, like, how they put, like... Oh, we've got another rare seashell. They put, like, the Nina storyline back when Ed and Al were still young and impressionable. Because if you don't know anything... If you know one thing about Fullmetal Alchemist, you know that a guy refuses his dog and daughter together. And that's the Nina Tucker storyline.
Yeah, who doesn't? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I learned about Fullmetal Alchemist, honestly. Because I remember there was a TV trope, no, not TV, there was a thread on this forum I used to go on called Chicken Smoothie where people listed the saddest fictional character deaths, and one of them mentioned that. And they also mentioned how, like, at the end of every volume there's images, there's art of all the characters who died going to heaven, but the dad, Shao Tucker, was, at the end of that volume, went to hell.
Man just goes, yeah, no. God. Even the homunculi go to heaven, but no, this man just goes straight to hell.
Yeah. Well, except for the two
Understandable.
most villainous ones who just basically get humiliated, which is actually a pattern I've noticed in fiction. Like, well, it's not really a pattern. I've noticed in both Fullmetal Alchemist, Manga Hood, and Animorphs. Like, most of the villains die, but then the mainest villain gets humiliated and suffers a fate worse than death instead. And I wonder if that's in anything else. Hello.
Hi, I'm still here.
But I'm getting off on tangents, which means I'm in a good mood.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Being in a good mood is good.
What else could we talk about? Maybe we could get a bit more on topic. Like, oh, this in the last stream I mentioned there were some monsters in this game which I didn't realise were from actual mythology until I looked at the wiki, and one of them is the Kongamato, which turns out to be from somewhere in sub-Saharan Africa. It's this, like, weird pterosaur, wyvern-looking thing. I wonder if I can get one.
Neat.
Oh, I did get one. Oh, I clicked save and quit by accident when I meant to actually go to the
Oh no!
to the inventory. That was very awkward. Any ideas for what to name the Kongamato?
Which one is which one is that?
As I just said, it's the pterosaur-looking guy. And it's...
Oh. God, no, I don't.
Also, the name kind of reminds you of the Kongalala from Monster Hunter, but that's a monkey, so...
Is Terror Bird too on the nose?
Well, if you spell it funny, it's not, so how about... How about this?
Hold on, I'm waiting for the stream to catch up. Sheesh. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And also kind of reminds me of how I was indirectly responsible for the trope Pterosauro to be being renamed to Pterodactyl. I didn't come up with the name, but I did make the trope repair shop cleanup thread, which is, if any of you watching don't know what that is, basically on TV tropes there's some tropes aren't used properly, so people go to the forums and suggest how to fix them. Basically the inside, the long and short of it. Maybe I might add Terror Bird to my team. And also it's funny because I was going to say Tempedia, the Monster Journal, says it's the ancestor of bird monsters as well as dragons, which is interesting, I guess. It's like when people call pterosaurs prehistoric birds, like... for some reason, the first one that comes to mind is Mr. TARDIS's review of the Torchwood episode Cyberwoman, where basically Torchwood is an edgy Doctor Who spin-off, and he mentions that episode ends with them covering, like, feeding hot sauce to this pterosaur that lives in their secret base, and he calls it a giant prehistoric bird.
This is edgy? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, there's also the fact
yes,
that
the edgy show where they have a pterosaur
well, also the titular Cyberwoman
in their secret base that they feed hot sauce.
Is very scantily clad, I'll say.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's edgy, quote unquote.
I've never seen Torchwood. When it was airing, I was too young to watch it, and it just doesn't interest me now.
Yeah.
But never say never, maybe I'll watch it one day. But I don't actually watch television that often. Like, pretty much the only TV shows I watch on, like, a TV show I watch, like, as it airs new episodes is QI.
But I haven't watched, I don't think I've watched a lot of TV shows in a while. That weren't rewatches, I mean. But, like, I have...
Like, broadcast television will be a thing of the past within my lifetime.
Yeah, it basically already is, honestly.
What were you
What
saying?
airs on broadcast anymore? Oh, I myself have recently kind of gotten into Doctor Who, but, like, the only thing it's on that I have is Disney Plus, and they only have the most recent season.
Well, actually, yeah, I have.
So I can't really watch any of the rest of it.
In and out of Doctor Who, because, like, sometimes I like it, but other times these episodes are very long, and I just have rotating interests. And also, classic...
I love how your bird couldn't carry you up there, but you could double jump up there.
But where?
Up to that chest with the carrot in it.
Okay. Oh, I was trying to get underneath this bit here. Anyway, yeah. And also classic. I've watched classic Doctor Who, but I can't really get into it because it just feels like a sitcom. Like, it's got only a few camera angles, very flat lighting, and not much background music. And so sometimes it just feels like there should be a laugh track. Like, specifically the part that makes me think that I've seen a clip of it. This episode, one episode of the Three Doctors where Joe quotes a Beatles song, which Joe is one of the third Doctor's companions.
Ah, yes, Joe.
And she was also in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
My parents are, like, big into Doctor Who, but I wasn't able to get into it when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, fair enough, it's one of those things that's really popular in its home country, but not really very niche elsewhere, kind of like Seinfeld or Doraemon. I don't know much about Doraemon.
You say that, I've never seen anybody talk about Doraemon outside of, like, references in other anime.
Okay, well, if it's referenced a lot, I assume it's really popular, and it's got a bajillion one-off movies as well, and honestly, the main reason I know about it is because it's on TV tropes a lot. And this is what we needed the real.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it that pop? Like, Doctor Who? Yeah, that's really popular outside of the UK. There's a lot of, at the very least, US fans.
So maybe what would be
I
comparison?
Couldn't tell you about Seinfeld because that one is American.
Yeah, I like.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's popular
Seinfeld
outside of America.
From pretty much only know about Seinfeld from TV tropes. Even though some American sitcoms are really popular here, like Friends, for example. Anyway,
I don't watch a lot of sitcoms. I'm not a sitcom man.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really watch many sitcoms either because they just get repetitive after a while. Ahoy, hoy! What brings you to this remote corner of our sanctuary? I can't do a pirate voice. A treasure hunt, you say? Well, there's no one here. That much I could tell you. But since you're already here and searching for treasures, maybe you could help me out with my own search. You see, I'm a fisherman by trade, but my real passion is collecting rare seashells. I'll give you something special for them too, something that can be used by your monsters. But I'm not talking about the shells which can be equipped by monsters. These seashells are different, or rare. You can find those rare seashells in hidden, hard-to-reach places all across Horizon Beach. Some might be underwater, but some might be up on those cliffs. Bring me 5 of those rare seashells and you've got yourself a deal. Alright, matey? Aye aye, Captain. I'm actually going to check how many I've got, because I think one of the rare seashells is hidden in this room. Is it a room? Oh, I've got all 5 of them already. Never mind then. Ahoy! Yeah, okay, you can have them all. Alright, thank you very much for those, matey. I won't be needing this anymore. Kind of fishing rod. Treat her well, you hear me? She's done me a great service over the years. And now he can retire, I guess. And we got a reward box level 2. Let me open this. Room +4. Also, maybe I could use another shift stone. Maybe on... I think I'm going to use it on...
Remind me what shift stones do?
Basically, they give monsters upgrades that increase their stats and give them a passive ability. And I'm going to go with Buff Mastery, the light one, because I'm using this as a very defensive monster, and so that one gives a massive defense boost. And also it's pink and yellow, and I like pink and yellow.
Yay!
I guess I just have a soft spot for things with very, like, abstract colour palettes. Like, for example, BNA Brand New Animal mainly just has a lot of blue and magenta contrast, which looks really pretty. And then Temtem's got some really bold colours. Even, like, there's some weird things we can't go through there, by the way, like how... Like, in every island, the grass is a different colour, which I thought I just really like how the game looks. I don't know what you'd call that style, because first thing that comes to mind is Tumblr Limited Palette Challenge, but that doesn't really do it justice.
Damn.
This game looks fine too, it's just obviously not doing that sort of art style. The colours are a bit more realistic, for lack of a better word.
I don't know, like, to me, kind of like it's a fine art style. It just also kind of lacks its own identity.
Oh yeah, because it does look
like it does.
It's a SNES game, but with
it's like this is Final Fantasy, but it's a side scroller monster catcher.
Okay. Well, I haven't really played Final
Like
Fantasy.
that's the art style.
Yeah,
Neither have I, but like the art style is.
Final Fantasy game. Unless Smash Ultimate counts, because wait, was Cloud DLC in Smash 4? I can't remember.
Cloud was DLC in Smash 4, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that DLC, so.
Yeah, and then there was shit.
Oh, and then there's
yeah,
Vex.
I don't know. I mean, not that I can judge. Most of my art is just me mimicking Pokemon's style.
And most of my art is from 3/4
Poorly.
view. Oh, it's you again. How curious that we meet again and again during our travels, huh? I've also forgotten what voice I've given Vex. And here of all places too, this is the highest point of the Horizon Cliffs. Although the mountains of Snowy Peaks are much higher, I think they can't compete with the view you get here. By the way, those bird-like monsters around here are really good flyers. They can fly much higher than other flying monsters. I know because I had to use them to get here. Personally, I prefer to use my own strength to climb these mountains though. Too bad there's not rock climb in this game. Anyway, I found something new that might be useful to you. It's a switch stone.
I like his dog monkey.
It's technically a dragon, but I think it looks more like a cat. The switch stone can be used to change a light-shifted monster to its dark-shifted form, or the other way around. Don't worry, I don't need it. I don't even have any shifted monsters yet. Haha. Alright, hope to see you again soon. Okay, that was nice. Thanks, Bex, for giving me more free stuff. Also, I should probably, like, have more monsters with earth attacks, because, honestly, like, Aurum Tail's not really doing it for me. I'd like to have some more monsters with buffing skills, so maybe I could just swap it out for something. I'm not sure what, but something.
Yeah. Though, you know, now that I think, a lot of games don't really have their own visual identity.
Yeah.
Or rather, a lot of games need to get their visual identity from like their menus and stuff, and like their general vibe, because like, you know, Resident Evil and I don't know, Uncharted are very different games, but they are both realistic, so they don't really have individual art styles.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about like two different things.
I chose two games I've never played.
One, how Zelda games have a lot of different. I think Zelda is pretty much the only video game franchise which doesn't have a consistent art style. It just varies basically every pair of games, and
No, Final Fantasy varies too.
I haven't played Final Fantasy, as I've said. And
Yeah.
I'm also trying to think, like, Cassette Beast, its art style
Technically
is
Pokemon too.
kind of just a bit, like, looks kind of like a low-budget version of HD 2D. This isn't a knock against Cassette Beast, but they don't have Square Enix money. It's made by mostly free people. But it does have, like, a very visual identity with the menus, which are very, like, this whole retro style to them. And I'm trying to look for something too that knows earth attacks that I can replace. Or maybe Ghidorah. Or maybe, I'm not sure. I can replace the Aurum Tail with. We need a soup bear, although honestly it's very underleveled. Oh my gosh, maybe Ninky? I'm gonna sort by level descending. I think I'll go with Ninky, that's got some buffing skills.
I mean, there are a lot of games that do have different art style, but that's more of an art evolution thing. Like Mario doesn't look like he did 20 years ago. Mario looks way different.
Or a cool visual identity thing in Cassette Beast is that the battle menu is on a cassette player. That's cool.
Be disappointed if it wasn't. Or like, even Kirby has somehow had his visual identity. He looks more or less the same, but his design has changed.
Yeah, it's mainly that his eyes have gotten bigger.
And his mouth is not the way it was. I don't know how. It's kind of like a scrunched kind of bow tie thing. One of those pastas, you know, the bow tie pastas.
Not really sure if I see it, but
I don't know.
Why not? Skill. Actually, I might as well give all these my active monsters skill potions, because
And I guess to be fair, that like also like visual identity wise, like with a lot of the later Kirby games, the style, like it is the same style, but it does have a different aesthetic / visual identity, because you've got, you know, Planet Robobot with his probably one of the best the best aesthetics in the entire series because of how creative it got, versus like Star Allies was more traditional, but it did have a lot of very painted-esque backgrounds and the menus. I love the menus in Star Allies.
Yeah, and then Forgotten Land had the whole more realistic setting. Also, like, honestly.
Yeah, and also the menus in Forgotten Land. The menus in Forgotten Land are great.
I also noticed that even though I've only played Kirby Star Allies once, it has a really similar like level design to Forgotten Land, even though the latter's in 3D, because it's got like, you just have so many puzzles where you basically just have to follow the stars in order to avoid blocks that move to the foreground and crush you. And then you repeat that several times. I honestly kind of got tired of seeing that puzzle after a while. Because honestly, I feel like Kirby is mainly carried by its aesthetics. Not saying that the gameplay is bad, but like definitely a bigger part of modern Kirby's appeal is it being flashy. Like there's all sorts of things which basically change.
From the beginning, it was. From the beginning, it's always been an easy game. That's the point.
Except Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which probably raised my blood pressure when I was like 10. that game is. It's not really hard. Like,
Not,
it's
not,
challenging.
it's
It's just
not counting
frustrating.
extra puzzles, admittedly.
But like, yeah, Kirby and Amazing Mirror is just kind of
Dreamland 2 and 3 are
frustrating.
evil. So is Crystal Shards.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like, I really like. Even though I'd already 100% in Dreamland 3 before, just doing that again on my Let's Play kind of made me like the game a lot less.
I swear these games are made to a lot early games are made to sell hint books. Hint books. I mean, I say that as a joke. That's just the truth for like early Sierra adventure games, because they will just say in the manual, just buy a fucking hint book, dude.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, is that why Earthbound in like North America was packaged with the guidebook? Well, like, or actually, no, I'm not sure why, because, like, honestly, I think packaging it with the guidebook was a bad idea, because it made it really expensive, and also the game, and also made the box massive, so it was harder to put on store shelves, so it didn't sell as well. And I swear that Earthbound is one of those games that's famous for being obscure, along with Okami and Psychonauts, to the point where they're not really obscure anymore, which is a paradox.
Almost 25. Earthbound sold brand new for $69.95. So $70. Sheesh.
What's that in today's
I mean,
money?
most games these days are like 60, so it's not. It's just that it's $10 more than like normal. Just pirate it.
Were quite cheap, but that could have just been because I played a lot of shovelware. Oh wait, I just realised.
I mean, DS games and 3DS games were usually 40 versus consoles 60.
Yeah.
And then if you get something, a lot of games on Steam, and that might just like PC games nowadays. Like this might just be because I play indie games a lot now, more than now. But it's like, yeah, they're like $20 usually.
And some are even cheaper. Like,
I mean, you shouldn't. If you're selling something digital, you can't sell it for 60 because the reason it's 60 is to cover the box and disc prices.
is it though? Because like, I think the reason why DVDs are so expensive apparently is because you're basically buying a license to own the movie, and the actual cost of the box and the DVD isn't much. So I assume it would be similar for video games, but I'm not sure.
I mean, that's not even necessarily true. You can definitely buy a video game physically and still have it taken away from you.
Oh.
It really sucks.
Oh, you mean online being shut down?
Yeah, or like nowadays, since for some reason, for some inexplicable reason, instead of saving your save data to the disc or cartridge, it saves it to the system.
Oh, it confused me so much when I was younger that like the Wii game saved in system, because I think you can't write to discs, as in with a C, round the ones. Actually, or if you can, it might. I don't exactly know how it works, but then you can write to cartridges. I'm not an expert on saving. This is just.
I mean,
estimating how.
It's like it's nice, I guess, because now you can have multiple Pokemon save files. But also, it's like I can take my copy of Alpha Sapphire and put it in a different 3DS and still be able to play.
That's the kind of what I like.
Also, you don't get that fun thing where like you buy you buy a game. You buy like a game, a used 3DS game or something, and you get to see somebody else's previous save.
Yeah. I suppose you can also do that, like, I remember getting a PS2 memory card once and just, or was it GameCube? Or actually, that's probably happened with both, and I've had to delete, like, all the previous save files off it, and it's really interesting to see how many games are on there. But honestly, I'm kind of glad the gaming industry did away with gaming with memory cards before I was really old enough to know what a video game was, because they're kind of annoying to use. I remember once I got, I had to...
No, they didn't.
The entire contents of my GameCube memory card just to save in Pokemon Colosseum, because I accidentally got an empty memory, like a memory card which didn't have any electronics in it. So that was fun. And that's part of the reason why I procrastinated on Thousand Year Door for so long, but now I've got the remake, so it doesn't matter. Because, like, I had to...
I mean, memory cards, that's just an SD card.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays. They still have them. I've had to replace my Switch SD card because I've run out of room.
But aren't Switch games saved to the cloud? Or wait, no, you can back them up on the cloud, that's not quite the same thing. And I
Yeah.
don't think we're tied on
Also,
this.
I don't know why you do that.
Well, because I hardly ever play Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I don't want to delete my save file outright just in case I ever get interested in it again. But honestly, playing New Horizons felt like a chore, because it just feels like every day I just go around picking up weeds, and it just didn't feel fun anymore, which is a shame because it's probably one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. Like, it introduced me to the concept of materials, which are like textures but more.
That's the whole thing about Animal Crossing, is that it does feel like a chore to me.
Yeah.
That's why I can't get into it. It's because it's making me do work.
And that's why I feel like I go in and out of interest in it a lot. Like, I've owned so many copies of Wild World throughout my life, not at the same time.
just your library of just Wild World. What games do you play? Animal Crossing Wild World, you say, showing them an entire shelf full of just Wild World copies.
Look at that strange stone monument. It seems important, doesn't it? There are symbols drawn all over it. Perhaps they're letters from some ancient language. I'd guess that this is a rune stone we're looking at. That would mean it contains some magic power. If that power was unlocked...
Are we looking at it, though? Your text box is covering it. I can't see it.
It could reveal a new path to us. We need somebody who's more book smart than us to decipher those runes, though. Maybe Will can help us.
I'm just gonna straight up call us dumb, thanks.
He should be in the library in the Keeper's Stronghold, just east from the teleporter stone there. Let's ask him for help. Yep, we can see there. There it is now. But it's not really that interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Frank.
Will. This fantasy world, of all the names, Will.
Yeah. As opposed to won't. I'm just gonna donate all these eggs for monsters I already... Oh wait, maybe not mini to these are 3 of these monsters I already have. And for a moment... And I'm also... Oh gosh, got loads of... And I'm also gonna donate the regular Nautilid I have, which is... if I can... There, which is here. Gosh, I'm getting all the rewards today. I'm just going to probably upgrade my equipment first, because that's probably long overdue. Actually, I might as well upgrade the fishing rod.
I love rewards.
I can't upgrade the fishing rod, never mind then. Kunai, that was long overdue. Actually, I might just get a blue gem so I can upgrade it anyway. Or 2, because I'll probably need one for the next level. Not. Oh well. Anyway, here he is. Hey, I've just been thinking about some things. It feels so strange not to have my spectral familiar around anymore. Your familiar won't be gone for very long, Will. We're on to the alchemists. Don't forget what I told you. They attack one of us, they attack all of us. Thank you. It means a lot to me to know that you and Streamdigo will help me, and I still have my other monsters as well. Just because I don't have my spectral familiar anymore doesn't mean I stop being a monster keeper. I just know that my spectral trode would want me to continue as a monster keeper. He's not dead. So I will continue travelling around the sanctuary for more hints about the alchemists. Sounds good, Will. We wish you good luck for your travels. I did find some information in one of the books though. So around 300 years ago, the Ancient Order of Alchemists came to the Sanctuary after they were banished everywhere else. They somehow managed to break through the Sanctuary's magical barrier and entered the Sanctuary. Eventually, they revealed themselves to the Monster Keepers. The leader of the Alchemists, Marduk, made a grand speech, trying to appeal to the Monster Keepers. He spoke of pushing back against those that had pushed them all into the Sanctuary. With the combined power of the Monster Sanctuary and the Alchemists, they would be able to conquer the Old World. However, most of the Monster Keepers were unwilling to start a war against the Old World. As the current Keeper Master put it, who's the Keeper Master? The Sanctuary was all that they needed and there was no reason for bloodshed. I'm just having a drink for a moment. They allowed the Alchemists to stay regardless, which was a mistake. The Alchemists were bitter and angry about the fact that they were constrained to live in the Monster Sanctuary. In the times of old, they used to practice their crafts for the kings of the Old World, earning plenty of riches and fame for their order. The alchemists plotted a conspiracy to gathered monster keepers around them that aligned with their worldviews. In their view, monsters were nothing but a tool to regain the power they once had in the old world. Luckily, the alchemists got caught before they could spring their plan into action, and no one was hurt. The monster keepers believed that they put an end to the ancient order of alchemists. However, the leader of the alchemists, Marduk, was never found. There were rumours that Marduk had found a way to gain immortality for himself. So perhaps he's still around somewhere in the sanctuary. It says that he always wore a devil mask. That's all I could find. Perhaps if we find more alchemists, we can get more information from them. Oh, what? You managed to catch an alchemist
That's
again?
very comprehensive.
Maybe you can get some more information from him. You should ask him about the leader of the alchemists. I think I've already done that, and I think this was exposition we were supposed to see very much earlier. But anyway, here's what we actually came for. Hey, what are you doing here? Taking a break from adventuring? We have a question for you, Will. Do you know something about runestones? Runestones? Not much, I'm afraid. However, I think I know just the book that can help us. Just give me a second. There! I got it! However, I should warn you that it's pretty complicated when it comes to the translation of the runes. That's alright, you can come with us. That's the easiest solution. Me? Come with you? Actually, where is the runestone? Oh, it's in the magma chamber, but it's right next to the teleporter stone there. Don't worry, nothing can happen to you there. Alright, if you say so. To be honest, it's pretty exciting to get the opportunity to study a real runestone. I'll head over there now. See you at the runestone. Look at him go! Seems like this is just what he needed.
Thank you, Wolf. What if we got to talk instead? Why do you exist? Your only purpose is to be, like, why bother with a silent protagonist? There's no difference between it. Like, you'd have the same outcome even if you weren't silent, because the wolf just talks for you.
It kind of reminds me of if, like, Impeccable Mission Dungeon is weirdly non-committal about having a silent protagonist, because you hear the protagonist's thoughts a lot, but they don't really talk out loud. And then usually until the end of the game, but even then, for some reason, their speech doesn't have their name label and it doesn't come with the scrolling sounds. Anyway. Oh, I didn't notice you were there. Gosh, this is definitely a real runestone. Wow. Sorry, my mind was drifting away again. Mood. I think I got the gist of the runes already, but there's a pretty important piece missing right in the centre, see? Yes, that's the most interesting thing about it. You see, the runes on the side are just an epic poem, a story told in verses about a hero named Siegfried, who is actually mentioned elsewhere in the game. Anyway, the runes in the middle are the ones we need to unlock the runestone spell. It seems like somebody specifically removed that part of the runestone, so it couldn't be used. There's no way we can unlock the runestone's power without that missing shard. I have a feeling we should be able to find that missing runestone shard somewhere around here. Let's look for it. And in order to look for it, we need to go down.
I have a feeling. You have a feeling? What feeling? What makes you think that?
Oh, I can't go that way. Yeah, the layout of this is a bit confusing. We can't do anything about that block yet, but we will be able to soon because some monsters in this area can break it.
Like, you can... I don't know. Our spectral familiar here doesn't really have a personality, does he?
Also, yeah, none of them really... And also the other NPCs ones don't really talk except for the lion, which is Leonard's. Oh, I'm very not good at this. I'm trying to get up. Got some materials.
It's like its entire purpose is to talk for the player character, so they don't have to, and occasionally tell us where our next quest objective is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least Navi had a personality.
Well, I mean,
Navi wasn't as annoying as people say she is.
At least spectral familiars have like a role in the game's lore because they created the Monster Sanctuary, and also the starters are legendaries, which is pretty cool. Tail was. No, I don't really think I've used Dark Tail before this stream series. I keep wanting to say let's play, but and it looks quite nice. Maybe it's just because I like the colour red. It's very.
I mean, it is a let's play.
Yeah. Sort
We are in fact playing.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder if streams are kind of like the evolution of let's plays, because like streaming seems to be more popular than just pre-recorded let's plays nowadays. But I don't actually know how long live streaming of video games has been around.
I mean, it's live streaming is video games is just a let's play that's live.
Yeah. And obviously live broadcasts in general have existed for a lot longer. Anyway, Salahammer, which is in the middle, is one of the monsters that can break the crystal blocks. That's what they're called. It's also a pretty cool design. It's kind of like an Ophiotaurus, but it wields a hammer. And I only know what an Ophiotaurus is because it was in an episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Don't know why it's called a Salahammer.
I don't even remember that episode. God, it's been forever since I watched
okay.
My Little
I
Pony.
can't remember what it's called now, but it's the episode where the villain in season 8, where the villain trio go camping.
Oh, that explains it. I didn't watch season 8.
Or was it season 9? But anyway, and then at one point
I didn't watch season 9 either.
they encounter an Ophiotaurus, which is a half bull, half snake thing. I think it's called.
I
Frenemies, that's
fell
it.
off, didn't I? I did fall off.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
I just fell off.
I'm gonna try this again with a different team composition, see if that works better.
Man, we've been playing like basically 11 hours, and the monsters are only like level 30, rounding up.
Yeah, the leveling curve in this is a lot lower than in other games because, like I said, the cap is 42, which is of course the meaning of life.
Ah, yes. The ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
Although honestly, I couldn't really get into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I just found it too somber to be funny. Like, the very start of it begins with like Arthur Dent mourning the loss of Earth, and I get that makes sense from a thematic perspective, but it doesn't really it makes sense for a character to feel that way in this situation. The problem is that doesn't really work for a comedy because it's too sad to be funny. Whereas, like, I wrote a crack fic once where a character died, a My Little Pony crack fic once where a character dies, and then it turns out that another character was a temporary Grim Reaper. Any ideas for Salahammer's name? But I deliberately didn't describe the
name is perfect! I'm sorry, its name is perfect!
Okay. But then...
Salahammer is the perfect name, I can't come up with a better one.
Okay then. But anyway, I deliberately didn't describe the death in detail because then it wouldn't be funny anymore. If you want to look it up, it's on FimFiction, it's called The Not So Grim Reaper. And we got some costumes now. Dragon Lord is another character who's mentioned in some Monster Journal entries, including Draconauts, which is here right now. It's basically the Eevee of this game.
Finally, Dragon type evolution.
We have Eevee at home. Yeah, it seems like a lot of Pokemon Inspired games have the token Eevee, because then like Temtem has a 2Y as well, which has 6 evolutions.
I mean, also, you know, you've got your Eevee and you've got
Tyrogue.
You know, obviously your mascot Pikachu. Every game needs a Pikachu.
And I'm not sure what the mascot of this is. Maybe I think it would be the closest would be either the Spectral Wolf or Blob or both. But obviously the Blob's kind of a generic design, so I'd rather go with the Spectral Wolf. Or maybe
actually
Cat Zerka, because that gets a lot of merchandise.
Pikachu is a very odd case, because it's one of the few times I've seen where the mascot of the game that started out as the intended mascot is actually as popular as the company wanted it to be. I mean, it didn't start out, the original intended mascot was Clefairy, but we got Pikachu instead, and Pikachu somehow managed to become one of the most popular and well-known Pokemon in the world, even though in most games it would be some other creature that wasn't on the box art and then gets put on the box art later retroactively.
Pikachu wasn't on the box art, isn't on the box art in most games, although it is on most spin-offs, but I'm trying to think the only ones spin-offs I can think of which don't have Pikachu on the cover are Pokemon the Ranger, the first one, Guardian Signs, but that has Pichu, New Pokemon Snap, but that also has Pichu, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, and Red Rescue Team. Have I missed any?
I don't think so, but I meant on the box art just as a metaphor for
but it's like,
promotional.
I've actually heard conflicting information
Obviously,
about
Pikachu is in every promotional.
Yeah, about why Pikachu is the mascot.
Sure.
Because like I've heard some people say, like the version I usually hear is that they thought it was more unisex, but then I also heard in like in this Did You Know Game video where they talk about Pokemon Story, which is a Japanese book about how Pokemon became popular, that like Pikachu was apparently more appealing to girls, and then Loxton Noggin mentioned that he had the pet hypothesis that the only really other popular yellow character at the time was Winnie the Pooh, so Pikachu stood out more. But wait a minute, it wasn't the Simpsons around.
Why not?
It just seems like there's a lot of information the Pokemon fandom takes for granted that's just based on rumours, like Satoshi Tajiri being autistic. I even hear non-fans bring that up.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because Kirby had been released like 3 years earlier.
I don't get it.
Because Clefairy is pink.
Okay. It's funny because someone wanted to make Kirby yellow. Can't remember. Was it Miyamoto? I can't remember. Which is that's why he's white.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the American box art, but he's pink on the Japanese box art, so I don't really know what was going on there. Maybe they just didn't have any.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I think at least part of that is hearsay. Like the wanting to make Kirby yellow part is not hearsay, but there is part of the. I believe the commonly accepted reason why Kirby is white on the box art. Original on the North American box art is hearsay.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just because they only had the sprite, they didn't have any official artwork for reference, and just that's based on the sprites, and they thought, oh, Kirby's pale.
Considering that everything else is in color.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, I mean, there's only so many ways you can colour
like,
a tree.
It's. Well, yeah, but no, that's the thing is that it can't be because they only had the sprites to work off of. Because Bronto, Burt, and Gordo are colored correctly, and you couldn't color them correctly if you didn't know what they looked like.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we could do some investigative journalism, or get Did You Know Game to do it for us.
Ah, yes, H-Bomber Guy's new video. Why is Kirby white on the American box art for Kirby's Dream Land?
Oh, hello, don't mind me. I was just puzzling over those strange statues. Look just like those Bob Critters hopping around everywhere in Sanctuary, don't they? But who built statues for them? You must have seen those statues in other parts of Sanctuary too. Right, get this, nobody has a clue what their purpose is. If you ask me, the whole thing seems fishy. If I had time, I'd investigate it, ask around Sanctuary. There's gotta be some smart fella who studies those blob critters. I bet old Brand, that old blob farmer, can tell us more. We should visit him again sometime and ask him. Yeah, I'll let you and your talking dog follow up on that. Good luck to you. Yes, talking dog. Is this Scooby-Doo? Also, I thought the Spectral Familiars were famous, but I guess not.
This may in fact be the funniest line in the game, and the first time this is my favorite line of dialogue in the game now. The only sane person in this game.
Yeah.
Who is also asking you to inspect a bunch of statues.
That before, because like as I said, I guess reading it out loud makes you pay more attention. But I assume it's different for each familiar. But we won't be doing anything.
I mean, I don't know.
Statues.
Maybe they're famous, but I don't know every famous person.
Yeah, neither do I. Like sometimes I'll hear about a celebrity getting into a scandal, and I'll be like, who? I don't.
And it's like I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, I've heard about the he's heard about the Spectral Familiars. He doesn't know what they look like.
gosh, I'm just reminded now of this. This morning I was watching a Thomas and Friends fan episode, which stars a character who appears in Railway series fan episode technically, who appears on like literally one page of one book, and there was this part where a guy asks him who he is because he doesn't recognise him. It's by, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's by Terrier 55 Stepney. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's a sequel to the previous one. And this is like, there is a lot of Thomas and Friends fan episodes out there. It's sort of like how Bronydom had a lot of animators in the early days, because Thomas fandom never really died out, because I guess honestly, like, it just seems like the reason why My Little Pony Friendship with Magic kind of waned in popularity is because it was more of a fad. Like, a lot of people got into it just for the hype of being bronies, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to gatekeep, this is just me speculating.
I mean, I don't know. I have never. It doesn't feel like it waned in popularity to me.
Well, it's not like you see people like complaining about every time they see someone with My Little Pony avatar on YouTube comments anymore. And if you're a man in the street, probably wouldn't know who the students 6 are. But you can, I think you can.
I mean,
oh, we got the.
To be fair, that I don't think a man on the street couldn't name any Pokemon other than Pikachu.
Or maybe Charizard or
so,
Lucario or something else they push
yeah,
a lot. But like, I think a good example of like a man on the street trying to name My Little Pony characters would be like the video where I get tessellating hexagons to do that, because he recognises some of the season, like the earlier season 1 characters, but as we get later into the show, he just completely guesses. And my favourite was, well,
I mean, that always happens. Like, that's just for everything. That doesn't mean that it doesn't imply a wane in popularity. That just,
well, that means he was less like he was probably saw a lot of. It probably means that like when My Little Pony Friendship with Magic was new, it was all over the internet, but it kind of just didn't have as much presence as later on, is what I'm getting at. So it was less likely, harder for non-fans to just learn through osmosis. Oh, I thought I opened this already. But also, you should watch the asking a non-fan to name My Little Pony G4 characters anyway, because it's really funny. Even though my audio quality is terrible, and I don't know why. My second favourite was when Tess called like Starlight Glimmer Exfoliation Garden. My first favourite is in the thumbnail. Anyway, let's talk to Will now. There's no way we can unlock the runestone's power without that missing shard. Isn't this the missing runestone shard? Oh, that must be exactly it. Let's complete the runestone. Now, let me just quickly translate the complete rune spell. Ah yes, in our language it means... Great Wotan, grant us Sieg-free strength so that we may walk through fire unscathed.
See, I feel like what they should have. They didn't need to include the that first bit of dialogue where he says, "There's no, like, we already know there's no way, like, there's no way we'll be able to unlock the power of the runestone without that missing shard." Like, that's fine if like you haven't found it yet, if you need a reminder, but like,
yeah.
Since you found it, he shouldn't say that because that's redundant dialogue.
Yeah.
Could have done without that.
Oh, based on what we just heard, we could assume something big has happened. That must have been the spell. Seems like the spell works in any language. Interesting, huh? And makes this game a lot easier to translate. Good job, Will. Thank you for your help. Don't mention it. In fact, I think I'd like to stick around, see what else we can find here. I've also got a magma pillar now. I think that's what my spectral toad would have wanted me to do. We're still going to get back your familiar, Will. It's just a matter of time. I know. Anyway, what I mean to say is, I shouldn't stop being a monster keeper. That wouldn't help anyone. See you around. I'm curious to explore this cave. Pardon?
I said, so you've said several times. We get it. This is your character arc.
I've got a feeling a place place like this would be perfect to hide another sanctuary token. I'm sure we will find another sanctuary token here, thanks to Will's help, but let's go. Yeah, the story in this game is sort of I mean, it serves its purpose. It doesn't.
Remind me what the sanctuary tokens are?
The MacGuffins you need to get to open a locked door. Well, they're plot coupons, but whatever, you know what I mean. The mystical doodads. I really like the background here. It's got.
Are they? Is this one of those things where it's like, where it's like there's more important things going on with like evil villains, but you've also got this other thing you have to do, even though it's not really as important.
Well, not really, because you actually need
like the gyms in Pokemon.
It's actually connected to the door is connected to the alchemist plot, but what I was going to say is that the story in this game is perfectly serviceable. It doesn't do anything that just makes me really mad or doesn't really make sense like Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, but it's not really, it's a bit kind of cliche at some parts. It's not spectacular, but it doesn't ruin the game for me. And also,
I mean, it could be it could be better if the dialogue was better.
Yeah.
Like, Will's character arc is fine. He can do that. He just needs to not spell out what his character arc is every time we meet him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon dialogue is kind of like that as well, but there's just a lot of redundancy.
Or like the other guy who's like a pompous jackass.
Leonard.
If his dialogue was better, he'd be great. Because pompous jackasses can be great if you like write them correctly, but he's just kind of generic.
Yeah.
Like, he's not annoying, but he's generic.
Mm-hmm. And also, I wonder if Wotan is something from mythology as well, because I don't think it's mentioned elsewhere in the game. And honestly, the name just makes me think of this classic, like this first Doctor serial in Doctor Who I haven't seen, where there's a robot called Wotan. Can't remember what he's called though. I think it's the one that introduces Dodo. It's
just Odin. That's just Odin.
Oh,
Wotan is just Odin.
I didn't know that. Although, what does Odin have to do with lava?
I feel like they probably just... You know, I was gonna say they just took... But, like, if the game... You know what, I don't know, like... Germany has a lot of Norse connections. I feel like they know, but I don't know.
Okay. There's also a lot of Norse...
They might have also just made up a nonsense word.
There's actually a lot of references to Norse mythology in this game, but we'll get to them later. Anyway, that's just a couple of things I wanted to talk about before we wrapped up the stream. So, is there any last words you'd like to say, Backset, before I finish this?
Not really, no.
Okay. Well, join me...
I have nothing interesting of value.
This time next Sunday, which is 4 PM BST, British summertime, for the 12th part of this riveting stream series. Until next time, stay interesting!